Hey guys, so this is a very impromptu style video, so excuse the background, whatever's going on. Just ate some spaghetti, so you know, forgive how I look if I have food on my face. And forgive the camera quality because I am filming this on my new vlog camera, which is a Canon G7X Mark II. I just bought it, so my vlogs will go up in quality. However, it's a downgrade, I guess, from my DSLR camera, but this is the camera that's charged. So this is how impromptu this video really is, because obviously I should be reviewing American Horror Story today, right? More impelled to do this video because I have some thoughts and some reactions to this article that I just felt I needed to share with you guys on my horror channel because I feel like a lot of you can relate. So this started from seeing an article on Twitter and someone had quote tweeted it. I don't remember what the original quote tweet was, but I clicked on the article, which is posted by Vogue. So this was posted 2 days ago as of today, and the author is Taylor Antrim. You might be wondering, why are we discussing a Vogue related article on a horror channel? Well, they decided to make some commentary on the horror community, if you will, just the horror genre. And I understand that everyone is entitled to their opinion. I am no expert in the horror genre. Sure, I watch a lot of horror movies. I would not consider myself an expert. I choose to sit here and share my opinions with you guys. I do get disagreements all the time though. That's just how opinions work, right? So I don't shame the writer of this article by any means, because they are absolutely entitled to this opinion. I just want to disagree with it publicly. Okay, so I'm just gonna get into the article because I don't want to ramble on too much about disclaimers and preface this video too much. Just know that I understand that they are entitled to this opinion, and now I'm choosing to share my opinion. So feel free to disagree with me in the comments or agree with me, do whatever, have a conversation down below. Just be respectful of everyone, and I'm gonna try to be respectful of their opinion as well, even if I don't think it's correct. The title of the article is, "Wasn't this supposed to be the golden age of horror?" Remember when horror was good? It wasn't that long ago, just last year. In fact, scary movies went on an absolute tear in 2017. We had blockbusters like Split and It, Raw, It Comes at Night, Thelma, Super Dark Times, and of course, Get Out. So this right here is an important piece to this article because someone had actually sent me a screenshot from Taylor's Twitter account, which, maybe I'll just get into it now. So they say we had blockbusters like Split and It. I feel like, sorry, my neighbors are loud. I feel like by saying it that way, it's implied that they are saying that these are very successful movies, right? Because they were. And it also, I would assume in that the way they write this, that they enjoyed those films, because they're saying that last year was the year of horror movies. That's the last time horror was actually good, was 2017. And then they go on to give examples, including It. But if you look back at their Twitter account in 2017, in September, they tweeted, "Didn't love It movie official, but thoroughly enjoyed talking to up-and-comer Sophia Lillis for Vogue." So this person had actually written an article interviewing Sophia from It, but they start off that tweet with, "Didn't love It." First of all, I feel like that's kind of unprofessional to say you didn't love the movie and then go on to interview an actor from the movie. But who am I to judge, right? I'm not a journalist. But then at the article, they use it as an example as good horror. So I'm a little bit confused where they really stand on It, but maybe that's here nor there, it doesn't really matter. They say something happened. I'm not sure there's been a good scary movie since. I feel like that's a very, very bold, this whole article is very, very bold because they are making claims that so many people are going to disagree with. They say, okay, there was Hereditary in June, there was A Quiet Place, which was a fun 90 minutes at the multiplex, but really more of a PG-13 thriller than a horror flick. What else? Did you subject yourself to Winchester, The Nun, Slender Man? Okay, I agree, Hereditary had its issues, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. A Quiet Place was done so well, loved it, but I do agree it's more of a thriller suspense, okay? But saying, did you subject yourself? I've heard Winchester's bad. I didn't see it, so I'm not gonna comment on that. But The Nun, again, I know it had its issues, so okay, I'm getting where you're going. Really still bold statements, but sure, let's just move on. We didn't even get a decent shark movie this year. This is the line that took all credibility, not even the It thing took credibility out of it, even though that was kind of weird. this is the line that just made me be like, all right, I need to do a video on this. I really hope they're being facetious. I really hope they're being sarcastic and saying that as a joke, because no offense to most shark movies, but typically they're not great, okay? Now, again, that's just my opinion. Did I enjoy 47 Meters Down? Absolutely, I would rewatch it. I did rewatch it, actually. I watched it twice. And they go on to say, no, 2018 has not been good for horror. And I'm including David Gordon Green's wildly overpraised Halloween in that assessment, which has been making buckets of money. So let's just assume the opposite of their first statement when they said blockbusters like Split and It, and then the other ones. And now they're complaining that Halloween is successful. Halloween is a blockbuster. I'm sorry, it is. It made so much money for good reason, in my opinion. Overpraised Halloween. Perhaps because there's nothing else remotely scary to go see. As we, you know, continue through the years, horror has its ups and downs. I agree with that, and I do agree that some months of the year it's slim pickings as far as horror goes. Now, I reviewed Halloween, you know, I had my faults with it, but overall I really enjoyed it. I did review it in a sense of looking at it objectively, but mostly I'm so proud because it is a classic slasher, and they brought that back to the box office and like the cinema, and it did so well, and that is such a good sign for me and other horror lovers. And they say it's hard not to be happy for Jamie Lee Curtis, who's been taking a victory lap for headlining the highest grossing film in history with a female lead over 55, but all that money doesn't make Halloween any less forgettable. Ouch. A lot of this article is just ow, like ouch, why do you gotta be so harsh? Then we get into something that I highly disagree with. So far it's been like, yeah, whatever, I disagree, but to an extent. Now it really gets bad for me. Suspiria is not forgettable, nor is it, I hasten to say, much of a horror film, despite being a remake of one. So I recently saw Suspiria, so I do plan on reviewing it. However, I've not seen the original, so I want to watch the original Suspiria in order to give a thorough review as far as comparing the two. But to say to you guys before the review, I absolutely loved Suspiria. And, you know, I'll get more into why I liked it in that review, of course, but I loved it. I thought it was so scary, but in its, like, a really bizarre way. Anyway, let's continue with what they have to say about it. So they said it's not a horror film. I don't know if we watched the same movie, honestly. So they say that the new director has turned the old 70s campy classic into a self-serious art film set in Berlin, which is so stylized and airless that it's impossible to feel much of anything watching it beyond confusion. Of course, there are scenes where you're like, I don't know what is going on right now. There is a lot of weird conversations, but I loved that about it because it felt truly like you were a fly on the wall watching these conversations and watching these people's lives, because they didn't hand feed you every single piece of information that you needed to connect the dots. And I love when movies do that. They let you fill in the blanks, use your imagination for things. Horror needs an element of fun, of dark delight. Hereditary, which I liked, missed this quality too. So they said they liked Hereditary, but they said that they haven't seen a good scary movie since 2017. But okay. I will say I wasn't bored in Suspiria. In parentheses, I was bored in Halloween, but I certainly wasn't scared. Before we get on to their review, their opinion on horror on TV, because let me tell you, they go in on Hill House. I want to address this like last commentary about them not being scared from Suspiria. Granted, everyone's different. Everyone has different scares that they enjoy in a horror movie. There's so many different types of horror fans, and maybe they're the type that likes the typical jump scare, knowing all the information, and you know, I just don't think that weird artsy movies are their thing, and that's okay. The reason why I'm so like harsh on them is because they're writing this as if it's a fact, which maybe, you know, like when you're in school and they say you don't need to put all the I's in there because when you're writing a paper, they know it's you writing it, so you don't need to state in my opinion over and over again because the, you know, teacher already knows that. I really enjoyed the horror movies that came out this year, and I'm so glad we got a lot of bizarre ones, and then we got a classic slasher one. So I don't know what their type of horror really is. They said that they didn't like It, so they liked Get Out, but they hated everything, like hated it, even though they said they enjoyed Hereditary, and then earlier they said they haven't seen a good one since. So I'm just confused in this article mostly. Anyway, let's go on to talking about how they feel about scares on the small screen TV. Now, this is the only part that I agree with wholeheartedly in this article. I applauded The Terror on AMC this spring for actually bringing chills to episodic TV, not an easy thing to do. Loved The Terror. My boyfriend and I watched it. It was so good and highly, highly recommend if you haven't seen it. So the rest of that paragraph, I am not going to comment on because I have not seen the shows that they talked about, so we're just going to skip that. We're going to jump right to Haunting of Hill House commentary. So first off, I have been watching Haunting of Hill House. I have not finished it. I really hope there's no spoilers in this. I have not finished this article, by the way. I read to a certain point and then stopped because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just read it in a video. Anyway, I believe I'm up to like episode 6 or so. So all those episodes, love so much. And I feel like they are not understanding the goal and the point of Haunting of Hill House, okay? That's just my opinion on their opinion. This is as much a 6 Feet Under style drama about the fault lines in a family as it is a spook show about a haunted house. But the scares are here. A grotesquely tall ghost, yeah, whatever. Hill House is well over 10 hours of television and the pacing is agonizingly slow. I'm gonna finish this paragraph and then we'll get into my thoughts before I just like jump down their throat. Horror is about dark delight, yes, but it's also about intensity, a quality in extremely short supply in Hill House. Here's what you notice while waiting to see another ghost. The generic nowhere vibe of the locations, the strangely cheap gilt glow lighting, the mediocre acting. That one's real knife to the gut. I've enjoyed many a low-budget, badly acted horror film, but the good ones race along so quickly you don't care. Okay, here's another issue I have with this article right there. They are complaining about the pacing of Hill House. I think that this show is meant for you to feel for the individual characters. That's why each of them has an episode. That way you feel attached to them. You're not just meant to feel fear throughout this whole show, but you're meant to feel a whole range of emotions in this show. And that adds to the atmosphere of watching the show. I don't think they understand that. They just wanted ghosts and ghouls 24/7 in the show. I think that's an unfair critique that they did. I know it's just their opinion and they're entitled to it, but I don't think that it's fair, one, for them to say mediocre acting. Like, are we watching the same show? They're saying that they enjoyed low-budget, badly acted horror films more than Hill House because the pacing was better. Are you kidding me? They race along so quickly that you don't care? I don't want that in every single piece of horror entertainment that I consume. I don't want it to be so fast-paced that I don't care about the acting or anything else. A lot of people are enjoying it. Maybe it's overhyped. I don't see it that way. I have been really enjoying it, but I think they really go in on Hill House and it's not deserving of that. And then they just kind of conclude the whole thing with like, we want horror to be like, feel like we're in control of like horrific things. I don't even know. Here's to the golden age of horror returning in 2019. I don't know. It 2 is coming out in 2019 and you weren't a fan of the first one. Were you? So that's all their article. You can see kind of my frustration with it because I mean, they went in on all of my favorite entertainment that was released this year, so maybe I'm just a little bit defensive about it. But I'm just here to defend it. You know, use my platform and my voice to defend it and say, you know what, just because you didn't enjoy it doesn't mean it's all bad. 2018 I thought was a great year for horror because we got great TV shows, we got great movies. So I don't know, what are your thoughts on this article and all the things that they attacked in this article? Leave your commentary down below. Let's have a conversation about it. I hope you enjoyed this impromptu video. We'll get American Horror Story up soon and I will talk to you soon. Bye.